to introduce the youth delegate of Sweden, Ms. Joanna Blossner. Ms. Blossner has been elected by the National Council of Swedish Youth Organizations, and she will be delivering her statement in her personal capacity.
Madam President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, youth delegates. Today, I will speak in my own capacity, but I speak for the children and youth in Sweden and 700,000 young people who are engaged in over 80 different youth organizations. I will speak about equality and sustainable development. This year, the Convention on the Rights of the Child celebrates its 25th anniversary, and on the 11th of October, we celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child. Girls and boys face different expectations in life and are often given different opportunities. Norms, structures, and inequality stand in the way for women and girls to make decisions of their own. Child, early, and forced marriages and early pregnancies forces girls to quit school and have severe consequences for their enjoyment of other human rights. Maternal death is the most common cause of death for young girls from 15 to 19 years old in developing countries. This must come to an end. Despite progress in recent years, girls continue to suffer severe disadvantage and exclusion throughout their lives in all areas of society, including the education system. Access to education is both a fundamental human right and a key to the development of one's full potential. Still, 65 million girls across the world are not in school. This number can be reduced by tackling discrimination, ending sexual violence, and providing education on sexual and reproductive health and rights. Quality education is an effective investment for a more prosperous society. Investing in girls is one of the best methods to reduce poverty, improve health, and advance equality. The global water crisis and lack of sanitation makes the school environment unsafe and makes it harder for girls to stay in school. 2.5 billion people lack adequate sanitation facilities, and the effects are most felt by women and girls. The world is facing a time of significant change. With 1 year left to achieve the Millennium Development Goals, a new agenda is taking form to make our common future more sustainable. In the spirit of leave no one behind and a human rights-based approach, the progress and participation of the most marginalized is essential for us to succeed. There can be no peace, no prosperity, and no progress without the full and equal participation of young people all over the world. Youth as a group has less power and resources than others, but the youth is strong and have a huge potential. Youth organizations are a driving force for change and development and are important arenas for non-formal education. The work in these organizations plays an important role to reach equal societies by empowering young people. If young people and youth organizations are taken seriously as actors for change and are included in decision-making processes, long-term sustainability can be reached. When speaking of education and young people, we must consider the situation of young migrants. Migration exposes youth, especially young women, to higher risks of abuse, discrimination, and exploitation. It is important to address the rights and empowerment of women and children in the context of human mobility. To ensure decent working conditions for all, the right to organize is important. Safe and legal routes to gain livelihood must be ensured for all migrants immediately. Migrants, as well as youth, need to be seen as actors for change. The UN was created to save coming generations from the scourge of war. But despite our many efforts, a world free from war and conflict is still far away. This will continue unless short-term gains are put aside and cease to be excuses for arms exports and exploitation of the natural resources of our planet. We need to focus on long-term sustainable development and recognize the vital role of equal participation of women and their full involvement in all efforts for the maintenance of and promotion of peace and security. The principle, responsibility to protect within international law, is a hopeful element for advocates for human security. International law must be upheld, including international human rights law, humanitarian law, and refugee law. All acts of violence need to end. Madam President, the world is facing a time of significant change. Let us take the opportunity to include youth in decision-making processes in a meaningful and inclusive way and support youth organizations and the civil society. We cannot afford to not unlock the potential of half of the population in the world. Let all the ideas in speeches, resolutions, and reports come to actions to match our visions. Action to fight for human rights, the right for every child to finish school, action towards gender equality, and action to fight climate change to achieve sustainable development. Thank you.